This is Al-Aqsa University. This is where I used to work. Thousands of students were filling the place. These are the buildings of the university. It was a symbol of hope, learning, and resilience. It wasn't only a workplace or a place of study for students, but it was a place where we were helping them to achieve their dreams and make better futures. It is really heartbreaking to see that rubble of a place which used to be our department office. This is where my office used to be.
I'm a senior at Al-Aqsa University and I study English literature. One of the biggest challenges was definitely the lack of stability. We often had to evacuate multiple times. My family and I, at the first phases of the war, refused to head south, where it was supposedly a safe zone, but it was not. Things here in the north of Gaza were much more intense and complicated. Because of the evacuation, we often had to leave things behind, like notes, books, and devices.
About 87% of the students were displaced. It is difficult to attend classes. It is difficult to focus. It is difficult to submit assignments in time.
When I was displaced, the nearest place where it had stable connection was about 45-minute walk away. It was not even an actual place. You had to stand in the middle of the street and try to do your thing.
I had to use different online platforms, primarily WhatsApp and Telegram. So I record voice messages at home whenever possible, when I have enough battery on my device. And then when I come here, I connect to the internet. And of course, I send those voice messages to my students. In order to help students with the file size, I have to go through a kind of an exhausting process of compressing the files sometimes to reduce the size of the file, to help students with playing the file or downloading it, given the difficulty they encounter in accessing the internet. I send to my students in the group. That's when I come here, I do all those things because I have access to internet and electricity. Many students lost family members, lost homes. Many of them were living in tents or shelters. And of course, you can imagine the living situation in shelters, which are really overcrowded, unhealthy environment, psychological and physical stress associated with that living conditions. And add to this the internet and electricity, the power outages, prolonged outages from the beginning of the war, that people, students in particular, and educators, find it really difficult to engage and connect.
The emotional burden was overwhelming. I had to study where bombs were falling outside. It's something no student should go through. It wasn't just one dark moment, it was this constant cycle of fear, uncertainty, and survival.
Despite the adversity and calamities students have faced so far, I've witnessed really unprecedented levels of resilience among our students.
I've come to realize that no matter how hard life gets, it keeps going and it does not stop. You have at some point to get on your feet and try to deal and cope with whatever resources you had. One of the motivation I had was that I think education is a strong tool and weapon against this occupation.